A quick new idea daily from the world's greatest TEDx talks. I'm your host, Atossa Leoni, and this is TEDx Shorts. Kyle Hagge believes in being more politically active in our own backyards. His podcasts Bridge the City and Innovators on Tap focus on local civic engagement and leadership. In today's episode, Kyle makes a compelling case that by voting and spending local, we will feel more connected and can make real change.
I think local activism is a gateway to national activism. You get involved locally, you learn the skill set and the mindset to make change, and then you can scale that up. Myself, when I first tried to make a difference, I tried to jump in right away at the national level. And I would write emails and I would join groups. And what I found is a lot of resistance, a lot of no, and I felt really disempowered. And what I think the local model does is it flips that script. It allows you to feel empowered and then scale up. And so I wanted to test this theory. Does local actually matter? And so me and a group of friends built a local media company called Bridge the City. And the idea was to connect people, resources, and ideas that inspired people to action locally. And over the course of 3 years, we've produced nearly 100 episodes. We've interviewed close to 200 guests. And I can report that, at least in my mind, the theory holds true. Local, you can have a great impact and you can make a difference in your community. And the crux of my talk today is not to talk about the podcast, but to talk about the framework that if you're feeling disempowered or you're feeling uninspired about America, about national news, how you can use this framework in your own community to make a difference. And this framework is 3 simple steps. The first step is to vote local. So maybe this is true for you, but when I was growing up, whether it was a mix of privilege or ignorance or a unique cocktail of both, I thought the only election that mattered was the presidential election. And it was simple. You walked into the ballot box, you voted for the president, you hand your ballot in, you left, you saluted the flag, you did your civic duty, and you're good to go for 4 years. That's it. And as I got a lot older and a little wiser, I realized that there's so much more to it than that. And that elections don't just happen every 4 years, they happen every single year, sometimes multiple times per year. And these elections matter. They're your alderperson, your school board, your mayor, even in some localities, they vote for their coroner. You're literally voting over your dead body. And these aren't low stakes elections as well, because take the Milwaukee School Board, for example. They control a budget of over $1 billion. That's more than the entire budget of the city of Milwaukee. But how many people do you think vote in this election? You might think it's 60% like a national presidential election. In local elections, sometimes only 10% of voters are voting. So if you really want to make an impact, yes, vote nationally, but unless you're in a handful of swing states and you want to compete with a million other voters, if you vote locally, that vote can sometimes have a larger impact. The second part of this framework is to spend locally. Now, I know I just said that we vote every single year, but now I'm about to contradict myself. We actually vote every single day. And what I mean by that is whenever we spend our money, we're voting with our dollars. My challenge to you is if you have the extra income to spend $30 to $45 a month on that, try to find that for your local community as well and spend locally. And spend locally is not just about money. It's about your talent and your time. A lot of these organizations, they run on volunteers and in-kind services. So if you don't have the funds, you have your time and your talent that you can give to these organizations to really make an impact in your local. And there's 2 things you'll realize. The first is that these organizations go above and beyond to stretch your dollar to maximize impact. And the second thing is you'll see money being injected right back into your community. And again, you'll see the change happen. And that inspires you and allows you to take on new challenges that come your way. The final part of this framework is to connect local. And this is very topical as Many of us are facing social isolation right now. So my words of wisdom today is you don't need to feel alone. There is someone in your community or in your neighborhood that cares about the same issues that you do. And if you can connect with them, you can make a difference. Now, there's a great proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together.
The TEDx talk you just listened to was recorded in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. All TEDx events are independently organized by volunteers who believe in TED's mission of ideas worth spreading. Special thanks to the organizing team at TEDxMarquetteU. Want to listen to more TEDx talks? Explore the entire archive on the TEDx YouTube channel. I'm Atossa Leoni. Thanks for listening, and see you tomorrow.